Hello YouTube. I just wanted to make a quick video showcasing my plan for this upcoming League 6, the Demonic Pacts League. I'm going to be rolling a mage build that goes Kandarin, Desert, and then Tyrannwen. So I just wanted to share the kind of basic reasoning behind these regions and the relics, and the sort of progression that I'm hoping to have in my skill tree. Now as you can see here on the left side of my screen is Gecko's planning sheet. If you want to copy this planning sheet that I've made where I've pre-selected all the regions, the relics, as well as the final skill tree, all you have to do is go to the Google Doc. I'm also just going to paste the link directly in the description, but you just copy that link right there, the Leagues Planner, and then go to this website, leaguesplanner.com, import the URL, paste it in there, hit import, and it's going to give you the imported copy of my build. Just go ahead and delete those. So yeah, here's the build. We're going Kandarin, Desert, Tyrannwen, and these are all really great regions for Mage. First of all, Kandarin has the Occult Necklace, the Zenai Jewelry, stuff like that, and then of course the Echo Weapon, Devil's Element, and Shadow Flame Quadrant. The Desert is going to be great because it gives us access to a raid, as well as the Dragger Blowpipe for our off style early on. It's also going to eventually give us T-Bow plus Mosori much later on as an off style. Of course, primarily we're going to be focusing on Mage, and the Shadow is going to be really excellent in TOA. After Desert, we're going to go Tyrannwen, and then from Tyrannwen we're going to get the Crystal Blessing, which is going to buff up our Shadow in our endgame build, as well as whatever melee weapon that we end up getting. In the ultra late game, we're of course going to have a Scythe eventually, but even before that, it does buff every melee weapon. So the relics I'm going are Barbarian Gathering, Friendly Forager, Map of Alacrity, Transmutation, Larcenous, Culling Spree, and then reload into Soul Harvest. And the end result of this is that, as you can see, pretty much all of my skills, all the difficult skills are solved, namely like Herblore and Prayer. The only ones that is indicating it's not solved are Cooking, Fletching, which are both extremely easy to train on their own. Farming, but I think farming is fine, honestly, because I'm going to be taking the Transmute, and we can transmute lower tier seeds into higher tier seeds. And plus, we don't really need to directly farm in order to gain herbs, because Herblore is already solved by Friendly Forager, so there's no rush to getting 99 farming. For Slayer, Culling Spree is going to help a lot with that, allowing us to pick our task. And then Hunter is going to be a bit of a problem, but we're not going to be doing much ranging, so we don't really care all that much about Chinchampas. And Construction, it's showing as not solved, but I think it's going to be perfectly fine with the Transmute spell, transmuting lower tier logs into higher tier logs. I'm not sure if it works on planks or not, but either way, should be relatively trivial to train Construction. I do have a little bit of details here on my thoughts about the relics in more detail. I won't read this out loud to you, but feel free to just consult the guide for a little bit more in-depth discussion on those. Now getting into the fun part, the build path. So the idea behind this is that we're going to start off as a water mage for infinite sustain and overhealing, stuff like that. We're going to shoot straight as soon as we can. We want to get that Shadow Flame Staff, the Quadrant, and the Devil's Element from the Thermonuclear Smoke Devil. So we're going to want to rush this water node and take this node where ice spells count as water spells, so that we get Barrage and Train Slayer very quickly after picking Kandarin. Because also in Kandarin there's a bunch of pact points locked behind Slayer monsters. So we really do need to rush water in order to efficiently train Slayer. Ideally we can rush to T6 for the Culling Spree as well, although that may be a bit idealistic because it's tier 6, and tier 6 is going to take a little while, probably a couple days at least, if you're not no-lifing the league. So what I've done here is I've kind of broken it down into stages. For example, I have a stage for 1 to 11 points, and then 12 to 26 points. and showing you like roughly what order that you should be taking these nodes in. So for the first 11 points, there is a little bit of explaining to do. Now the thing is that there's only 11 tasks. If you want to see a list of all the tasks that give you points, you can go to the wiki, and there is a list of all 40 pacts and all the tasks that will yield you those points. So I've gone through this and picked out the easy ones and the medium ones and the hard ones. And in this guide, I've listed which ones that you should do first. And basically, TLDR is that there's 11 that are really easy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There's 11 that are really easy to do that you can get before doing your fight caves to make that much easier. The thing is that, let me kind of reset this tree. You have 11 points to play with before doing Jad, and you really want to get to this water keystone where you're going to get healed for 60% of the damage dealt to your target. So what you want to do is something like this. This is exactly 11 points. The problem is that you also do really want to farm a Moxley-Ottle because he's one of those easy tasks. And to do him, you're going to want to use either Fire Magic or a Crush Weapon. You could use the Dragon Mace from Kandarin as one melee option, but if you want to use Magic, he's weak to Fire Magic. And what you want to do is you would want to take Fire, so that Fire can buff you up for doing a Moxley-Ottle. And you of course want Air, because Air is going to regenerate Air runes for you, which will refund you prayer points. And before you have access to prayer potions, this is going to be really, really good, right? Especially if our farming is not quite solved by the relics that we've picked early on. So the Air is a must. Fire, you can probably do a Moxley-Ottle without the Fire node and just, kill him normally with Fire spells or the Crush Weapon. But that means that you don't have enough points to take the Water one as well. And the Water one is great because it's going to heal you. Every time you regenerate Water runes, you regenerate 1 health as well. And that's going to help you out with sustain when you do the fight caves. So the point is that you have to basically choose between the Water or the Fire node early on. Now, an easy way to do this would just be to start out with Fire. So my first nodes would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then grind out a Moxley-Ottle, get his Echo Weapon as well, and then respec. So I swap out of the Fire into Water, take the Air, and just go all the way down here for 11 points, and then now I can do Jad with that Keystone. You can't really afford to take off the Air because you're, like I said, going to need all that prayer. So in this diagram here, I've basically just shown you what your tree should look like after 11 points, and I've highlighted the nodes that you're going to want to choose between. You can choose to either start Fire and respec. After killing the Echo Boss, you're going to get a respec on your first 3 Echo Bosses that you kill, so it's going to be fully refunded, all the points that you've spent. Or you can just do Water and save that respec point. Or if you really wanted to, you could do this and then do Jad without the Keystone. I wouldn't really recommend that. It's going to be a lot more cozy if you just pick 2 and reach the Keystone and then do Jad and then pick this melee node. It's going to work out really nicely. So it's just up to you whether you want to, you can also just do Jad like this, where you don't allocate this Water node at all, but you still have the Water Keystone, so you're still going to have a lot of healing, and this may be a nice little compromise. But it's up to you how you want to do it. You can just spend the respec node, and we're only going to use 2 respecs in this guide anyways, so there's no harm in using that 1 point there. And then after you kill Jad, then you're going to want to take this melee node. It's going to increase your minimum hit by 3. And with the weapon that you get from a Moxley-Ottle, the Infernal something, it's the dual hit weapon that he gives you, is going to really, really boost your melee training. And you are eventually going to need to train melee, so your skills up to 99 for the points. So this is definitely a worthwhile node to take. And that's kind of the only complicated part of this. The rest is all pretty straightforward. As you move up to the 12 to 26 point range, I've listed all the tasks that you should do in this range. You only need to do 13 of these tasks. I've listed 18 here, so you can take your pick. Whichever 5 that you don't want to do, you can just cross those off and do them later. We need to reach 25 points in order to respec, to prepare for the Corrupted Gauntlet. So what we're going to do in our tree is go down here and take this ranged options, the thrown weapon, echo, ranged echoes. The reason we're doing this is because we're going to do the Cowfight Queen and get the Dragar Blowpipe, and we are going to have to train up our ranged, ideally to farm the Corrupted Gauntlet Echo Boss. So we need some way of getting ranged levels. It's going to be really, really slow if we don't take these packs right here. And we're not losing that much because we can just pass straight into all these excellent nodes, plus accuracy, offhand item, more overheal, more regen. So we're really not losing anything at all by taking these nodes. So now basically the strategy is we have the Dragar Blowpipe, we're training up our range to a decent level, maybe 80 or something like that. And then we're going to do a big respec for the Corrupted Gauntlet. Now, if you really want to, you can keep going down this build, just be a water mage, and I have outlined a few notes that you can take, up to 30 points, up to, 37 points. If you really want to just do this forever and not do the Corrupted Gauntlet. But I imagine most people will want to do the Corrupted Gauntlet to get the Echo Blessing, the Crystal Blessing. So at this point, we're going to do a big shift. You're ready to do the Corrupted Gauntlet once you have 25 skill points, plus a Trident from the Kraken, so you're going to have to complete your Slayer grind, and full Crystal. This is going to be pretty easy to get from pickpocketing elves for the Crystal Shards. And then at that point, you're ready to begin your grind for the Blessing and optionally the Bofa as well. Bofa's not mandatory, but what we're going to do is we're going to respec out of this thrown weapon nodes and into the bow part of the tree. Because in the Corrupted Gauntlet, you are given a powered staff as well as a bow to fight the Hunlif. And so, if we can respec right before we do the Hunlif, or the, right before we do the Corrupted Gauntlet, that's going to give us a huge boost while we're farming him, and it's going to make it way, way easier, that our powered staffs are going to be 2 tick, and our bows are going to be a tick faster as well. And it works out really nicely because as soon as you come out of the Corrupted Gauntlet, you're going to have that full crystal armor with the Crystal Blessing, and you're going to have your powered staff already. That's why you need the Trident, so that you can jump straight away into the Trident build as soon as you come out of the Gauntlet. So this is a nice, smooth way of strategically respecking out of the Dragar Blowpipe once you get your range level up a bit into bows and powered staves to help you out in the Corrupted Gauntlet. And it's also going to be what we want to stay in after the Corrupted Gauntlet because, we may get the Bofa from there, and that's going to make our Bofa 1 tick faster. And we're going to have our powered staff down to 1 tick with the extremely high magic damage and accuracy boost from the Crystal Armor and the Crystal Blessing. At this point, this is sort of the core of the build, and it's really only, I think I'm missing a few points here somewhere. Oh yeah, you definitely want these 2 nodes, and this one as well. This is 25 points, and I would say this is the minimum that you should have before you respec to get all of those juicy regen nodes and everything else. At this point, you can kind of go wherever you want. I haven't listed any specific combat tasks after this point, only to reach 25 because you have the freedom to kind of go wherever. But the endgame build is going to look something like this right here. I have it on my Leagues planner. For me, what I personally want to do, I think, is go back into the water keystone and take the ice node again, so that I can continue training Slayer up to 50 mil or whatever the max. Because there's always those 200 point tasks for getting 25, 35 mil, 50 mil in every skill. This is going to be great for Slayer. It's also going to be great for the Inferno, because the regen that you get from just casting with a 2-tick trident or a one-tick trident or a 2-tick shadow is still not going to be quite as much as you would get if you're spamming water spells, especially with the Shadow Flame Staff, which does like a sort of double cast. And all the monsters in the Inferno are weak to water, so you're already here at this water keystone, near the water keystone anyways. So I figured this is still a really good option to just go back into the water spells once you're done with the Corrupted Gauntlet. If you don't want to do that, you can go into the ranged area so that your Dragor Blowpipe is good again. I mean, it's already good on its own, but these nodes are all accuracy, damage, overheal, regen. These nodes are good to go for anyways. So it doesn't hurt to pick up these nodes over here for your magic, and they're going to aid your range damage as well. Overall, they're just high value nodes to take. But if you wanted to do something different, a little bit more unique, you could path over to this node, which gives you 2% special attack energy whenever you do a ranged attack. Or this node, which allows you to swap between styles and gives you increased damage every time you swap after performing a max hit. You could take the earth nodes instead, which will allow you to reduce the enemy's defense with each spell hit. Or you could go into here. Special attacks have a 20% chance not to consume any energy, grab more accuracy. But really, as early as this 25-point tree, you can already choose to go wherever you want. I would recommend maybe picking up this spellbook 2-tick faster node again, just because that Shadow Flame Staff is going to be really good, I think, at some monsters with high elemental weaknesses before you get your Shadow. I'm not quite sure if the Crystal Armor with Swamp Trident will categorically outperform elemental spells on every single mob, especially with that Shadow Flame Staff and Devil's Element, which seems really, really strong. But this node is optional. You can just camp Swamp Trident and kill everything with that if you want to. If you really want to go all in on magic, you could completely ignore the range tree, deallocate all of these nodes, and pick up these 1% magic damage nodes over here. Because remember that Tumikin Shadow is going to multiply that damage by 3. So if you really just want to make your Shadow super busted and go all out on damage, you can do that as well. But just remember that you're going to have to do stuff like Leviathan, I'm kind of not remembering what else, and Soul. Well, Soul you can't really do with range, but there are situations where you might want range because certain monsters do have a very high magic defense and it's not viable. So I do think it's a little bit of a risk to completely go all in on the magic tree and not take any range at all. And especially why not? Because it takes so few nodes to get this 1-tick faster bows. Eventually we're even going to get a twisted bow with Masori. So that's not going to be too bad, right? I just think it's kind of a risk to just go all in on the Shadow if there's going to be some monsters that you just can't kill with it. But anyways, it's up to you what you want to do from here. It's pretty open-ended, and I have all the little checkpoints that I've been talking about in this video here, 32 points, 39 points. I even have a list of gear progression for all the different combat styles. It kind of goes in order from worst to best. So of course for magic you're going to want to get Crystal with the Crystal Blessing. And then there's also ranged and melee. There's some frequently asked questions here too that people might have, like why I'm not going Grimoire, why I'm not going Dorns. I'm not going to sit here and read this out to you guys, but just if you're interested in that, you can check out the FAQ. And again, if you want to copy this build, just use this link and go to the Gecko's League planning sheet. I'm not taking credit for this sheet. It's made by Gecko. It's community built. If you want to donate, you can click this button down here to donate to him. And again, just copy that link, import URL, easy as that. And if you want to share this link to others, I've also included the link to this doc within the doc itself. Both of these links will also be in the description of this video. And I think that about covers it. This is just a really nice build. It feels really smooth, and it takes advantage of those free resets that we're going to get, the free respecs, to transition as soon as we're ready to do the Corrupted Gauntlet. And we can also kind of abuse that early on to make chat a little bit easier. So yeah, let me know if you guys have any questions, and thanks for watching.